All right, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about grading the New Jersey Devils during the pause. Now, before we get started, I just want to ask you to please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, which will alert you when my next video comes out, which will be about the Nashville Predators. Now, the last team I graded was the New York Islanders there. I'm shooting these videos in reverse alphabetical order, so I'll throw up a few other links to those other clubs, somewhere up top over the next few minutes. Now, the Devils! I was one of many people, probably, including Devil fans, that thought they might be a bubble playoff team at the beginning of the season, right? They made a lot of off-season moves, trades. They brought in Simmons and PK Subban, and they drafted Quinn Hughes and got Gusev, and things looked good. And then they didn't. A lot of players didn't play up to their potential. The coach got fired, the GM got fired, and the team went to hell in a handbasket, really. But there is a bright future here, and we'll get back to that in a second. Now, their season started off in October horribly and continued all the way through January. And then suddenly in February and March, they turned it around with the new coach. So, yeah, there's hope there. Now, they lost. They did lose their loss. They lost their last game. They were 6-2-2 in their last 10. They sit with 68 points, third last in the Eastern Conference right now. Not much more to say other than that. Now, let's scan over the trades that they made that brought them to this point really quickly, starting with the PK Subban trade from Nashville. That happened in June. Then they went out, of course, like I mentioned, got Gusev from the Knights. Then things started to go real bad. And Ray Shero, their former GM, traded Taylor Hall. He got some players, some prospects, a first-round pick and a third-round pick. And less than a month later, he was fired. He was gone. Tom Fitzgerald took over and kind of did a fantastic job, didn't he? He traded Blake Coleman for a first-round pick and Nolan Foote, who's going to be should be a great power forward in the very near future. They traded Andy Green, their 37-year-old captain on left shot defense there. Carried a lot of minutes, by the way, to the Islanders. They got a second-round pick and David Quenneville out of that. Not too shabby. They traded Louis Dominique. They swapped goaltenders with Canucks, ho-hum. They traded Wade Simmons to the Buffalo Sabres. They got a conditional fifth out of that. Okay. And then, of course, their last trade of the season was Sami Vatanen to the Carolina Hurricanes. They got a pick, a prospect, and a conditional fourth-round pick. Now, when it comes to injuries, the only lingering one still on the team at the pause was Will Butcher. He injured his thumb. He had surgery on it. If the season were to resume, the regular season, mind you, obviously, because they're not going to be in the playoffs, he might be able to play. He's their left shot D, 25 years old. He had 21 points so far before he went down. Now, let's look at some statistics that I'm going to throw in your face, starting with the special teams. The power play, they were 21st. The penalty kill, they were 7th. Wins, they were 29th. Points, 26th. Goals for, 25th. You see where I'm going with this? Goals against, 26th. Shots against per game, 26th. Sounds like a combination. A bad one, mind you. They allowed 32.7 shots per game. Face-off win percentage sucked. It was 29th in the league. And, of course, John Hines, their coach, was fired on December 3rd. Alan Nezardine took over. Started to turn that team around in February and March. And we were hearing rumors at one point of fired Vegas Golden Knight coach Gerard Gallant being a possible fit there. But after how well Nesordine has done with the team, do they still do that? Do they keep him? Does Gallant ever even want to coach in New Jersey? I don't know. Ray Shero was fired on January 12th. I always found that it felt like he was being pushed to retool this team a little too fast than what they were necessarily capable of. But, hey, I was one of those optimists at the beginning of the year, like the rest of you Devil fans. And, of course, Tom Fitzgerald took over. And do they keep him? Because, was it Mike Futa just became available, assistant GM from the Los Angeles Kings? Other teams have been sniffing around him for years now. Maybe Jersey will too. I don't know. We'll see. Next, let's start talking about the players, starting with their goalie of the future, Mackenzie Blackwood. In 47 games this year, he had a .915 save percentage. Pretty good. In his first season with the Devils last year, he had, in 20 games, he had a 918 save percentage. This is it. All they need to do is really look for a veteran backup that they can use to play with them, and things could get better next year. And I say that because although I love Corey Schneider, and he's signed for 2 more years at $6 million a season, I'm not so sure he can do that anymore. He just continues to decline. I know he's run into a lot of bad luck with those injuries, especially that hip injury, which is really hard to recover from if you're a goalie. Luongo kind of never did, really. But in this season, in 13 games, he had an .887 save percentage. He also played 14 games in the AHL, had a .903 save percentage there. Last season, in 26 games with the Devils, he had a .903 save percentage. The season before that, 2017, a .907. I don't know. It doesn't look good for him, but I hope things turn out in one way or the other. Now let's talk about the defense. Starting with their big pickup, PK Subban. What happened, man? Did he really just fell off the wagon completely there in 68 games in his first season with the Devils? He had 18 points and was a -21. Last season with the Predators in 63 games, he had 31 points. Not even to his standards, but at least it wasn't that bad. The season before that, 2017-18, he had a 59-point season. I don't know what's going on with him. Can he bounce back? I think so. How many more seasons has he got left with the Devils? He's got 2 more at $9 million. They can afford it. I think he still's got it in him. I'm not sure if he's going to get up to that 50-point range again, but it's possible. Speaking of their defense, now Severson, he has the most points in the club. He's 25 years old, and in 69 games he had 31 points. He's a -20 though. So was the entire team, really. They're all minuses, except for the one guy, their captain, who they traded away to the Islanders, and he was a +1. Whoa. Yeah. Severson also led the team in ice time at 22:58. The second most defenseman with points was Vatanen, who they traded to the Carolina Hurricanes. He was 28 years old, by the way. He had 23 points. They really lacking offense from their defense. And he played 21:45 a game, so a lot of minutes there. Third on the team was Will Butcher. Of course, I told you about his injury. He's 25 years old. He's young. He had 21 points. Okay, -8. Yeah. And then Subban was 4th on that list. And then Green, who they traded to the Islanders, was 5th with 11 points. So they really are desperate for some offense. Ty Smith, one of their top 2 prospects, should jump right into the left side next season. So there's high hopes there. He's just killing it in the WHL. Now, I think we're done with the defense here. Let's talk about the offense. And let's start talking about Jack Hughes, who didn't have the greatest of seasons in his first season. Mind you, he's only 18. He's not even 19 yet. Doesn't turn 19 until late May. But in 61 games, he had 7 goals, 21 points, -26. Yeah, definitely by far worst on the team. In the plus-minus category, playing second and third line minutes there. I'm sure he'll improve. It'll take a little time. Look at Capo Caco with the Rangers. He's had not such a great season either. Mind you, Hughes is only 5'11" and 175 pounds. He could use to put on a little bit more muscle. Now, their point leader on the whole team was Palmieri. He's 28 years old. He's got 1 more year left on his contract after this one. He scored 25 goals, 45 points. But Taylor Hall, if he wasn't traded, would have led the team on points, but not by much. Only with 52 between Arizona and New Jersey. That's what he's had so far. Doesn't even have 20 goals, 16 goals. Wow. Gusev, technically he's second on the team in points. He's 27 years old, 13 goals, 44 points. Okay, not bad. First year in North America. He only averaged 14.42 in ice time though, minus 15. Then Hirshire. Oh, I can never get, that guy plays first line minutes in the center. He's 21 years old. He's got a bright future too. I would think eventually he would be their second line, center of the future with Jack Hughes up front. But that could take, upwards of 2-3 years. We'll see. He had 14 goals, 36 points. Averaged 18.04 in ice time, the most of any forward after Taylor Hall left. And then Jesper Bratt was next on that list, 21 years old. In 60 games, he had 16 goals, 32 points. Okay. Pavel Zacha, another centerman, 22 years old, 32 points. They really need some offense. And the only other player to have 20 goals besides Palmieri was Blake Coleman, who was traded to the Tampa Bay Lightning. So what do they do in the offseason? Maybe sign a couple of UFAs with the possibility of maybe flipping them come the trade deadline. They also have a couple of kids who will be coming up, though. Jesper Boqvist, who you've heard that name before. He started the season with the Devils, but was sent back to the AHL. Now with the Devils in 35 games, he had 4 goals. And I think most of them was like in 2 games. He hit that mark, and then he just fell right off a cliff there, minus 11. But in 19 games in the AHL, he had 11 points, 8 of those goals, plus 4. Look for him to join the team. He is he's a left winger, by the way, 6 foot. Then there's Janne Kukakainen. I hope I said that correctly. A left winger, 21 years old, 6'1" they got in the Vatanen trade to the Carolina Hurricanes. This guy's ripping it up in the AHL. In 52 games with the Charlotte Checkers, he had 42 points, 12 goals, plus 9. In 4 games with the Binghamton Devils, he had 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points, plus 1. Look for him to start next season as well. I would think he would make the team too. So there is hope. The prospect pool is also ranked, 5th in the by the Hockey News. There's definitely, hope and light at the end of the tunnel. Do I see them making playoffs next year? I don't think I'm as optimistic. I don't know how aggressive they're going to be in the UFA market, but still, right? I gotta grade this team a D-. I could easily give them an F, right? But seeing as how, a lot of people thought they might make the playoffs this season, what would you grade this team? I would love to hear from you down in the comment section below, especially you Devil fans out there. And yeah, that's it. That's all. Thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And we're still living in this, just crazy world right now. Please stay healthy if you can, and stay inside if you can. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon.